Hello and welcome. Thanks for joining me on your mathematical journey. Today we're going to look at some algebra. In particular, what is a variable? Exactly. So you may have seen problems like these in the past, right? You may have seen blank plus 3 equals to 11. You might have seen 28 divided by question mark equals to 4. And in both of those cases, right, I could say that this blank, I could say what plus 3 equals to 11, which is 8 for those of you keeping track at home. I could also say 28 divided by what equals to 4. Right? That's going to be 7 if you're paying a bit attention at home. And similarly, right, this third one here is just a slight variant on these. And all I've done is replace these symbols, blank space, a question mark, with the letter n. And in this case, I've said n minus 7 equals to 9. And once again, I could just say what minus 7 equals to 9. Once again, if you're keeping track at home, this one might be a little trickier. N is going to be 16 in this case. And so I use this to start by saying that really a variable just stands in for the word what very often. And it's just a nice short way of expressing a specific what. And variables act like numbers in many ways. In fact, in almost every way. And so what do I mean by that? Let's go over to here on the right-hand side, where all we're going to do is we're going to take these basic expressions here, and we're just going to do what we call evaluate, or you might refer to them as computing them, when these variables have those specific values, right? So we could say this as an expression, n plus 12. Well, when n is 19, as it says here, all we need to do to compute this is simply replace the letter n with the number 19. It almost works like a key if you've ever worked with maps or coloring. So in that case, we could say that 19 plus 12 is going to equal to 31. Right? Let's go to the next one here, right? We notice here these are smushed together, 5h when h is 6. Well, what do we do when they're sort of smushed together? It doesn't look like they're telling us what to do. And this is where I want to step in and say that this is the mathematical convention for saying times. So whenever you see a number and a letter, or a number and a variable kind of smushed together without any sort of symbol between them, the underlying expectation is that you are going to multiply those together. So in this case, we will take 5 and we will multiply it by h. So we will say that 5 times 6 in this case is going to equal to 30. And the last one we have here is z over 3 when z is 12. Now in this case, you may not be familiar with this, or at least you may only be in the context of a fraction. And that's okay. All we mean in this case is we just mean divided by. This is often what mathematicians use instead of writing out the division sign. So in this case, we just want to replace our variable z with our number or our value 12, and we will get that 12 divided by 3 equals to 4. So variables are just essentially numbers. Now in these specific cases, we were given the value of the variables, but in many cases in math, you won't know ahead of time what the value of a variable is. And so in the next section, we will start understanding how to take those variables and unearthing what their value is. Have a good day.